Hey everyone, I'm Mary Kwiatkowski, and I'm back again with another exciting episode of our brand new NBC reality TV show, Destination X. Love was in the air this week, and to break down the third episode, I am joined by my excellent co host, Sasha Joseph. Sasha, how are you?
So good, feeling a lot of love, excited to be here with you, Mary.
Yes. And before we dive in to talk more about the episode, Sasha, why don't you tell everyone where they can find all of our coverage?
Yes, listen, y'all. Before we get started, you know the deal, all right? Like this video, leave a comment, tell us what you're thinking. And if you were listening to us on the We Know Reality TV feed, because that's where you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast, leave us a 5-star review. All right. Help us out. Tell Rob how excellent Mary and I are. And for all of our coverage, you can check us out on weknowdestinationx.com. And listen, we're also on YouTube if you're listening to us. So go to all the places, do all the things so that, listen, the bosses know we're doing a good job.
Yes, definitely. And make sure you check out our Destination Exit Press as well. That will be
Yes.
coming to
Oh,
you
yes.
later in the week. Last week we talked with Jonah, and it was a really fun conversation. Actually, he's such a sweetie pie. I definitely not the biggest gamer in the world,
Bless
but
him.
a very fun conversation. And this week we will be talking with, sadly, Rachel. Oh, I did see this one coming once we got down to it, but I was a little sad because I feel like she was starting to kind of come into her own here.
I maybe I'm dumb because I felt like when I watched it, I was excited and I said, "Oh, I think that Rachel's gonna get saved, or I think Rachel's gonna pull like a Hail Mary, like, y'all thought, that I
Mhm.
was gone. But in reality, I'm here and I'm smart and I'm, not gonna let y'all get me." But no.
Yeah. But this week we traveled exactly where we thought we were going, to France. And I
Yep.
don't know about anyone else, but in my mind I just kept hearing it was like the Miss Universe or Miss World pageant where they say the names, that just one person goes, France. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yes. So, funnily
Oh my
enough,
gosh.
we had guessed last time where we
Yes.
thought we would be going, and I thought that we'd be going to Cannes, and Sasha thought we would be going to Paris, and drum roll, yes, Sasha was right, it was Paris.
Yeah.
But at least those were the 2 most talked about cities this week. So,
And I
I wasn't
couldn't
the
stop
only one who was
giggling.
wrong.
Yep. And the thing is, your guess actually created a whole moment on the show. You gave
Yes.
content with your guess. I gave boring, predictable.
Well, but see, and it is making me think, like, do we think this is it? We're just gonna be doing the biggest named cities? Because I feel like at that point, I mean, at this point, we've been to Rome, we've been to Geneva, and we've been to Paris. So it seems a
Mhm.
little bit like obvious. I don't know.
Yeah, and listen, like I don't need to be a bird, bird caller or
Mhm.
whatever. I forget Rick's profession. I'm sorry, Rick.
For sure, bird collar.
Yeah, bird watcher, right? Cordelia Cup, that. Whatever she is. But anyway, it's just me. I'm I'm seeing all of the patterns and I have to say this episode felt a little bit like meh, and I don't even know how people figured out Paris because there was not really a lot of information given to us.
Oh, interesting. Because I definitely thought it was Paris from, like, the very first clues.
Ooh,
If anything, I felt like it was so obviously Paris. Um,
I
well,
love this.
so what's interesting is in the first episode, when they went to the ruins,
Mhm.
that did not, to me, point to Rome. That
Right.
really was like, "Hey, this is just narrowing down Italy." This time, I felt like all of the clues in the maze, which we'll talk about more in a little bit, directly pointed to Paris for a lot of it,
Mhm.
or at least a few of them did. Um, and I don't know if they were just trying to do France, but that was the way that I interpreted it. So, yeah, we'll get to that one, but I'm trying to remember last week. So last week when they were in Switzerland,
Mhm.
their first challenge, did that point directly to Geneva, or was that one pretty much just
That was the country. That's where it feels like the first challenge is is a country challenge. The
yeah.
second challenge gives you the city.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see whether or not. I mean, I'm kind of looking at the map a little bit right now, trying to
Yep.
figure out where they could be going. We'll predict a little bit next time, but
Mhm.
at the end of this, where they'll be going next time, because I would love to see them go to not the biggest ever city. That would be nice, I think.
Yeah. And like I said, I really think that this might be made for, the average American, like, that
Mhm.
has maybe like a biggie, right? Where they conceptually understand how Europe works and all of that, but maybe they haven't been so well traveled. And maybe for the average watcher that maybe won't understand like the random places in Switzerland or the random places anywhere else. So I wish that we were maybe that's season 2 where we're able to hit like a happy medium, and
Yeah.
maybe where the challenges can be a little bit more like last week, actually, because last week was a fun challenge. So I can't even knock on it because they have it in them. It's just playing croquet. Come on.
The croquet of it all, I think, hurt this week a
Yep.
bit. So yeah, we'll get to it, but we start off this episode with our sort of voiceover hint for the audience. Last week it was the thing about the city of peace, and this time it was we got the I'm trying to remember exactly what he said.
Yeah, and I
Something
missed
about
it.
love, right? Oh, known. We're going to a place steeped in passion and known for affairs of the heart, which I do feel like does
Oh,
instantly feel very Parisy, but
yes.
that is also again just given to us.
Yeah, and again, do we need that, right? Like, would it be, and maybe this is my question for the chat, that's watching right now, or even in the comments, let us know online. We just if we didn't get those hints, because the hints, the visual hints as well, right? The croissant, the bridge, the random stuff like that. I think we even saw the Arc de Triomphe at one time.
Hmm.
So is it worth it? Would it benefit if we didn't get that kind of B-roll so that we could be a little bit more not in the know?
Yeah. Um. Probably. It would be nice to maybe like have a little bit more guesswork on our part because we are seeing all of those shots.
Yeah.
And it does make me think a little bit like I think Josh had told us in the exit interview from the first episode that there were a couple moments where they would like unblock the windows. And we did see that this time, which I think they had to do because of Janae and Peter. We had to like let them see where we were at. So we kind of reset for everyone because Peter and Janae obviously
Yes.
knew they were in Paris. So I wonder whether or not they are unblocking the windows for them more times than we see as well.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So that maybe like some of those shots of the countryside, it's not just for the audience, but it's
Yeah.
also for them. But I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out. That maybe we'll add that to the list of things to ask Rachel.
I like it.
Yeah. So because we're going to a place known for affairs of the heart, we start out talking about our showmance in question, Shane and Allie, still connecting. I love all the shots of the two of them just like touching their fingers across the aisle, and then you have like Rick and Biggie in the back of the bus being like, what is happening? Like just clocking that completely.
Because the joke of it all, right? The theme of this episode was very much love,
Hmm.
not just Paris, right? Even even the Love Island,
Yep.
Bachelor, right?
Bachelor.
Like literally everywhere you turn, smack, smack, love, 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 right? It's like it's all over, and the fact that you couldn't have planned it. The fact that these two, Allie and Shane, are just like in a showmance and they're out. They're just out with their showmance. No fear of repercussion at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what other people are going to do except maybe try to like send them both into the map room or something, but so far they've been relatively safe. I did love Biggie's quote when he was like, "I'm not the best with women. I can't close. I'm great innings 1 through 8, but the ninth inning I can't do it." I thought that was so funny.
And I was like, "Mickey, what's happening? We got to talk. Let's
I feel
figure
like
this out."
I'm the opposite. I like inning 1 is really hard for me, but I feel like if I can make it to inning 2, I can get to the end.
Right? Oh my gosh. It's like, to me, getting 8 innings is giving, like, you've been together 6 months at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, probably. We also do get a little bit of Rachel trying to maneuver here. This was definitely a big Rachel episode for her final one. She apologizes to Rick because of their blow up from last time. And she says this week she really wants to work on her social bonds and building alliances, which she does do. So,
Mhm.
like, I actually feel like if she had made it through the map room this week, she would have been in a much better spot, especially depending on who goes home. And then we just got like Kim being Kim, and Kim talks about how she's like, Kim is very much like, I'm not just a mom, I'm a cool mom.
The it Oh my god, and this is why I love Kim. I ride or die for Kim, because Kim, the little glimpses that we got from her, like, seems to, have a, I don't wanna say hard life, but yeah, like a tough moments in her life that,
Mhm.
she's like, "Listen, I had to get it together. I held it down, and it's me time now."
Yep.
Versus Rachel, who's like, "Listen, I'm stuck. I'm a gamer, so I need to figure out how to make friends with these people." So I am obsessed with how she's talking with Kim, right? And being like, "So does it, like, feel crazy when you jump out of a plane? When you're doing," it's just, my girl is trying. Rachel was trying hard to talk with Rick. She's like, "I don't think you're a snake. I just think you're," well, so good.
It was great. It was great. And they pair up, right? Rachel and Kim for this next
Yes,
challenge, I
yes.
think. So we get to our first stop and they end up in a hedge maze. I also shout out to whoever it was who was like, they made this look easier in Harry Potter. And I was like, what Harry Potter were you watching? Because it did not look easy.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, Cedric,
Yeah, it's like,
no,
yeah, nope, okay,
no
whatever.
spoilers, but,
Um,
like, we know what happened to Cedric, babe.
Kind of surprised we didn't get like a Shining reference too. I feel like those are the two big maze maze
That's really
references
funny,
that get
actually.
made. So the thing here's what I didn't understand and also kind of didn't love about this challenge, unless
Mhm.
I'm misunderstanding it. They're trying to get to the center of the maze, but to get there they have to go and see like a couple checkpoints,
Yeah,
and the checkpoints are each a person who's dressed up like one of those statues, but then they like come to life, and then a clue. And it's sort of charadesy, like one of the clues is a movie, one is going to be music, and one was, I think, flowers.
yeah.
But what I was confused about was that are they all coming to the exact same thing? Does each team have their own of the each of the 3 that they're getting to? Like, because I just don't understand how if one team got in the lead, how they would not just automatically get all 3 clues.
I think that is what happened. So
That's what it seemed
I
like.
yeah, to me it felt like it's the same checkpoint for everyone. It's just how fast you can get to said checkpoint.
So did they all start in different places? Because then I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, did Ty and Shane just start in the best spot, get to the first one, and then they were
Oh.
never going to not win?
I mean,
Like,
listen,
unless the
Shane
maze is so
was
confusing that they
running.
like other people could have gotten to it, I don't know.
Shane was running. Like, I couldn't even figure out who his partner was at some point, because
Because
I
he
was
was
like,
by
"Who?"
himself,
Because I
yeah.
was like, "Well, who is with him? He's just running." So I think that there's a little bit of like speed and maybe luck, right? Like taking the right turns and stuff like that. But in my mind, it would be equidistant, like, because there were 4 teams, and so I would just assume everyone started at the 4 corners and then needed to
Okay.
kinda make it. But you're right in that if I start at bottom left and then the checkpoint is on, at a closer to Shane and Ty, does that help or hurt me?
Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly how that happened, but basically it did
Mhm.
really feel like if one team is going to get one correct clue,
Yeah.
they're gonna get all the correct clues. But I did like the idea of, like, the other ones being red herrings. I just kind of wish that we could have been in a situation where, like, Ty and Shane got maybe 1 or 2 of them right. Like, the
Mhm.
different people got different correct ones and different red herrings, but instead it just was like everyone was getting red herrings except for Ty and Shane. And some of the teams most of the teams didn't get more than 2 clues. I think
Yep.
Ty and Shane were the only ones who even got to the 3rd clue. So the clues, the Ty and Shane, the correct clues were a picture of a red windmill and a woman doing like movie symbol, right? And so instantly I was like, oh, Moulin Rouge, which is set in Paris.
Yeah.
So that was where I was like, well, okay.
Oh, that's funny. See, that's what I didn't catch. I caught all the love stuff, which is why I was like, think we're going to the city of love, like we're going to Paris. But in my mind, I was like, oh, I don't know that we're moving this way.
Yeah. And then the second clue was can music and they were dancing.
Yeah.
Can is also a big thing that's in Moulin Rouge, which again, set in Paris. Now, that is the only one where I do think this did throw Ty off because she
Hmm.
thought can, so it's in can, which I
The
do get.
Geneva of it all. Yeah.
Right, the Geneva of it all. So I get that, but I think it was the fact that I just think none of these clues should have pointed directly to Paris. They should have all just pointed to generic France, and
Mhm.
instead I felt like it was a little too much. And then the third one, red, white, and blue flowers, also could have been a couple different countries, but at this point we kind of narrowed it down to France. Okay.
Yeah. France, because we had France, Croatia, Spain,
Yeah,
and Ger- Germany.
Yeah, because so Biggie and Allie, they get I didn't understand, maybe I'm just dumb, like why a pirate ship movie was instantly Spain. Like what movie
I
was
don't think,
it supposed to be?
yeah, I see. That's what I couldn't. I just ignored the movie part of it all, like, in my mind did,
Oh,
because
okay.
I think you're correct in that there must be some kind of pirate, but I'm thinking again, Spain, Spanish ships, right? Like, going
Yeah,
and
so maybe that's
conquering,
just
but that's on me, like, it could be a movie.
um they take a ship at the beginning of The Road to El Dorado and they're from
Oh,
Spain. But I don't know, that's the most I got.
no.
Okay. Yeah, maybe just like there's just like a lot of movies about like Spanish explorers or something. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
yeah,
Um
that's what I was
And then they had like sort of flamenco music and dancing. And then Rachel and Kim, they were talking a lot and they were taking breaks. I did love all the confessionals of Kim being like, I ran track, I'm a runner, and then like being out of breath. One of my favorite things in reality TV, and it comes up so often, is the person who like ran track or cross country as a kid, but is now like 30, 40 years later, like still trying to like or who was an athlete in like high school or college but has not been athletic since then and is still trying to be like, yeah, I should be able to do this because I used to run track. It's like, yeah, I ran track in middle school, I can't run fast now.
yeah, again, Kim is me. You know what I
Icon.
mean? Like, I don't know how else to explain this. I ran track as well. And it's so funny because I would also, like, think that I could run fast. I cannot. I didn't even run fast in high school. I was, like, running the 4 and the 8. Granted, now the 4 is a full-on sprint, but you know what I mean. So, it's just, Kim, I see you. It's silly, but I see you.
Yeah. But their red herring clues were, let's see, they got okay, there was a movie that was about a car on steps. Again, I don't know what movie that was. It was
Oh,
supposed to point
that's
to
the Roman
Italy.
holiday, right?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
I
it.
would think
Maybe.
Roman holiday. Also, I looked this up. Again, this is like me conspiracy theorying it. So, like, Destination X, please let me know that maybe I'm wrong. So I looked up like Spanish pirate movies, like just
Okay.
to see what would come up. Then it's said Island of Tortuga in Pirates of the Caribbean is a real place, but it's a small island north of Haiti, and it was French owned. So this is, like, making me even
Okay, now I'm
laugh
more
more.
confused. Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
So I don't know, like, I in my mind, it feels like
Yeah, because if I
Spain
saw
and, like,
like
maybe the trade, like, slave trade and barbaric, pirates that happened.
because if I saw a pirate ship and movie, I'm like, literally Pirates of the Caribbean is the only thing that would come to mind right
Yeah.
away. Or like, I don't know, Swiss Family Robinson. That's like, but again, that's not. I don't remember where they were. They were heading toward Australia. So, but these are not places. They're not in Europe, so it's not going to help. Um, Also, so the whole having clues for Italy, which is what Kim and Rachel had, was interesting because that would potentially make us think that we could be going back to some countries or going to
Mhm.
countries like, which I like the idea of. I think that I would love to see that in the next few stops we maybe go back to Switzerland, Italy, or France, and so that maybe we're not just going to 11 different countries as well.
Yes.
I think that would be nice. To have that as a possibility. Otherwise, you would always just be able to rule out all of those countries.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like it's getting already in episode 3 a little predictable.
Yeah,
So we gotta switch something up.
gotta
Let's
switch it
make
up.
some moves.
Let's go to the countryside somewhere. And
Yeah.
then Rick and Mac, they get a red herring clue about a movie with a dragon, and it shows 3 eggs. I also would have instantly just thought Croatia.
Okay. You know what? Shout out to you. This was not my episode.
Oh,
Switzerland was all me,
it would,
but
but
not this one.
only because, well, actually, so here's the thing. There are 2 locations where most of Game of Thrones was set, although I don't love the fact that they were doing movie for that. Isn't
Oh.
television like a different category in charades than movie? I don't know. I don't do like
Well,
the
what would you
original.
do for television? I think you
I
do
don't
the
know.
square, right?
Yeah, isn't it like, I don't know. So,
We
but
don't
anyway,
play
Game of
video games.
Thrones, not a movie, but if it is, so if it was, it did look like they were supposed to be getting Croatia out of that, which is where a lot of the dragon-esque scenes were filmed. But
Oh.
the other place that Game of Thrones was filmed was, a lot of it was filmed in Northern Ireland. So that could have been the other potential option. So that was kind of a hard clue because it could have been leading in 2 directions. Didn't matter because it was red herring anyway.
Oh my
But
gosh,
yeah,
this has my head spinning. Thank God. If I got the red herring, I swear to God.
I know, I would be so stuck on that. That's my problem, is I would be like, but what if I didn't? But I think at this point, it was so obvious when Shane and Ty won that everyone else was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
well, our clues must have been red herrings." So we can just rule out all of those
That's
places.
true. That's
Um,
true.
which in some way actually helps them because, yeah, they might not know instantly what um
Mhm.
country they're in, but they know what countries they're not, and they know
Yeah, like,
more
maybe I
ones.
am not in Spain.
And like, I'm not in Spain, I'm not in Croatia, I'm probably not in Italy. Great, good to know.
Mhm.
Um, so they get to the center, and here is my question for you, because I don't watch Love Island.
Yes.
When they had to choose, each of them had to choose between a phone and a rose. Why does a phone have to do with Love
I
Island?
got a text. They love to
That's a
so that
thing.
is like the only part of Love Island that is like hilarious, and I wonder like that you can maybe mark it quickly into a clue, right? Because what are they gonna do? A hideaway where you're like alone, with your radio to get it
I
on.
just thought it might
I
be like
think
a little
that's the
symbol,
most.
like a little palm tree. Like if there was like a little palm tree, I would at least think island from that or something.
Oh, fair, like a heart and an island. But I think that's
Yeah.
too on the nose. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Well, the rose is so iconic with Bachelor at this point.
Yeah. So I just no, I think personally, like it makes total sense.
So wait, so when do they
Why
get a
we got a
text in Love
text.
Island?
For dates usually, or like a bombshell
Oh,
is coming in, or basically that's production's way of talking to them. So it could
gotcha.
be for anything.
What would they do if it was the circle?
Ooh,
An emoji? I don't
can
know. They're so into
oh
emojis on the
right.
circle.
Oh my god. From the
Um,
circle, I bet you they would literally put a circle and people still wouldn't get it because and this is what something I think we should start asking the folks in our exit interviews. Well, we did I guess for Jonah already. Like do they really not know that much of, like zero reality TV?
that's what it
Cuz
seems like, a lot of them.
Peter, I feel Janae fine like if you're not into Love Island, fine. Maybe you don't know who she is,
But
but
I feel like if I saw Janae, maybe this is just
right.
me watching a lot of things. I've never watched Love Island. I don't know who she is. I feel like just looking at her being like, this is a person who's been on reality TV, or this person is famous in some way. I should know them,
Yes.
is what I would feel like.
No, I agree with you. Big
And
agree.
like Peter, I was shocked with, it seemed like the only person we got explicit confirmation that knew who Peter was Rick. And I don't think, possibly Biggie, but that might have been because Rick had already announced it. So we'll see. Um, we'll find out. I would definitely ask Rachel whether or not she knew either of them. Um, so Ty talks to Janae, very clearly doesn't know who Janae is. And Shane talks to Peter, very clearly doesn't know who Peter is. What did you think about them both getting different advantages? Similar but different.
I liked it. Because again, I think like we need to make some moves here. We need to snake some people, right? Like we got to shake things up, and I think this gives like plausible deniability of how we received the clue, which we can talk about maybe later. But I think like because they got different clues that in my mind that would equal, oh, that must mean like you know, they have different levels of knowledge. And maybe that's how Ty could play it off, right? To be like, Rachel, like, I just got a different clue. I had no idea. Blah, blah, blah. So I think there's ways to be strategic with it. I just don't know that these two were. And that's fine, but here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to know whether or not they could have been used to cancel each other out. Like, let's say, who had the save? Did Ty have the? Let me see. Ty had the save, and then Shane had the send. So, like, could Ty have saved? Let's say Rachel, and then Shane go. Actually, I'm going to send Rachel, and then like, could they have canceled each other out? Can they both be used on the same person? Could they be used on themselves or each other? I don't know. Well, I guess we know they could be used on each other because Ty ends up saving Shane.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
question is, would it be the last person, whoever gets asked, is the trump card? So if Ty went first, then Shane's pick is the end. So or is it that like Rachel grants someone immunity? So Ty, I
I
think
would hope that,
Ty
that if
grants
Ty
someone
granted someone
immunity,
immunity, that
and
Shane
then
wouldn't be
Shane
able to just
can't
save
touch them.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's what
think
I
it's
would
all
hope.
that. Yep.
But we can ask Rachel whether or not that was like, if there was understanding about that specifically. And yeah, so they get both of these. Neither one of them, I think, gets the connection that I also got, which is, what does The Bachelor and Love Island have in common? Love. What is the city of love? Paris. See, to me, I'm just like, this is so obviously Paris that it's so obvious.
Again, and this is on me. Like, I am here for all the girlies that watch all these shows, and it's sometimes vibes only. Because tell me why it took me until the end to be like, oh my god, the clue that these two were was love. What is wrong
Yes.
with me? So it took me way too long, and that's on me. Because I immediately knew that Peter and Janae were the clues. I even
You're
put
right.
that together. But I didn't
Oh.
put that it's a love show.
Well, and so then the other question is, do we think that, I guess they both, it seemed like the two of them did not think at all, oh, these two people who are just out here, they might become a part of the show at some point. Didn't think about that.
But it was a nothing burger. Like, I shouldn't it have been, you get these two clues, okay? But if you don't take these clues, then something might not change in the game. If you take these clues, something might change in the game.
Yeah, that's a good
Give
point.
me a red button situation. Press
Right.
the button. Most likely, I think both these two would have pressed the button. There's no right, like they would have taken the clues.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think it would have been like, take the clues, get an edge in the game, right? Like you just make it sound so enticing. Get a really
Pandora's
good,
box, a banker's
yes.
shed
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
situation.
That's how I think it should have happened. And again, these two people 100% would have taken it. So we would have been fine.
Yeah, and I think most people would have.
Yeah, so
I
come
think
on.
maybe Jonah wouldn't have, but he might have been the
Oh,
only
right.
one. It's like,
Jonah's
I just
gone.
don't wanna mess things up in the game.
Right, but I think it has to be like, it doesn't need to be that both of you need to agree. You see what I'm saying? Like, it could be that one of you can get the clue, and then the other person is, up Shit's Creek, right? So I don't care. Make it sound as enticing as possible. And then maybe if only one person picks it, then that person just gets safety,
Right.
from the map room, period. And that's fine too. But so I think there's just, there could have been better ways to introduce them without it just kind of being like, okay, now they're here. Because if I'm Josh, I'm sitting at home pissed as hell that
Yeah.
I didn't just get in as a Big Brother, because where was Big Brother founded? Not me forgetting. The original Big Brother.
What do you mean? Like, where was it
Yeah,
set?
it's a European.
Oh, was it just the UK? Was that the original one?
No. Nor like one of the oh my god. I'm embarrassed. And I know Chai is yelling, but guys, we're not live.
I
Anyway.
remember. Original Big Brother Dutch
Dutch, thank you. So
in the
when so
Netherlands
then
in
I'm like, when they're
1999.
in Netherlands, should they have gone and Josh should have entered then? No, of course not. That's crazy. But my point is, if I'm Josh, I'm punching the air.
Yeah. So wait, when did Big Brother move to the UK?
Well, no, I think
always
that's when it went everywhere after.
that's wild because I always sort of thought like they're just so different. Like
Yep.
I feel like how the people in the US treat like bachelor people is more like
Mhm.
how the UK
Yes.
treats their Big Brother people.
Well, they also like Love Island.
Yeah, there's also that.
That's the UK's. Yeah.
Yeah, those
Tell us
2.
if you're in the UK. But
From my
I think Love Island
experience.
is the big one.
Yes. So back on the bus, Shane and Ty do share what their powers are with everyone. And I love instantly Mac and Biggie are just like complimenting them. Like, oh, I like you that your hair looks so good today. You're so have I told you how pretty you are? Have I told you how handsome you are? Moments like that, moments like Kim talking about the skydiving, I want more of that. Like, I feel like I want about 10-20% more of that in the show and 10 to 20% less of the competitions because I
Mhm.
think the competitions like this one, the maze one was okay. I liked the confessionals throughout. The croquet one could have been a montage. And I
Yep.
would have rather had more of the dynamics of the people talking to each other because these people are very funny and interesting. And like, I don't know if Destination X, we already we had the Josh of it all. Now we've
Mhm.
got Janae and Peter. I don't know if this is one of those shows that's going to turn into the same way that they did The Traitors, where they try it with, normal people and then go all
Yeah.
reality stars. But I do love like the reason that we have reality stars to put on these type of shows is because they had to start somewhere. And I like people like Biggie, people like Mac, people like Kim. They're interesting, they're
Mhm.
exciting people. So I just want to hear more of them, give them more time to shine.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's just there's a moment, and I feel like I just need Destination X to like ramp it up a little.
A little bit, yeah. And then everyone kind of discusses their red herring clues and they realize that they are red herrings. Kim is going to call Shane out and be like, don't be sharing your clues with Allie, but I mean, of course she
I
does.
said, Kim, yes. This is what I mean. Like, I think the people on this bus are gamers. How do we like get them to move it forward a little bit more?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We just need more of that. Um,
Mhm.
And then Shane and Ty do instantly share their clues with Allie and Biggie. So we've kind of seen this before. Shane and Biggie are close, Ty and Allie are close, and then obviously Allie and Shane have that showmance. And so that's kind of our biggest working alliance of those 4, and they share their clues. But it doesn't seem like it seems like they both basically explain where they're at, and most of them are like, France maybe can, but not.
Mhm.
It didn't seem like they were really going Paris super hard at that
Yeah.
point. Then, and this was another big, this is Rachel and Ty were kind of the main 2 people in this episode. So Ty is like, hey, you know what? I also want to pull Rachel in and have a separate thing because I'm getting annoyed with the showmance and I don't want to be the third wheel in that. So I'm going to have a little side thing with Rachel. And so the 2 of them talk. Rachel can see that Ty and Allie are growing apart. So that's good. And Mac is also there. And so at this point, they're kind of like, maybe a woman's thing. Maybe we should look into that. Which, I don't hate it. It's a good time.
Love.
And another great line from Mac when somebody, one of Ty or Rachel is like, I just don't want Allie and Shane to be going to the end together. And Mac is like, plain and simple, I won't allow it. I was like, Mac, I love how Mac talks like she has all this power and she has been in the map room like every time and knows nothing and has no one.
Honestly, shout out to Mac. I
Yeah.
don't like again, more delusional people on reality TV. More, not less.
Yes. Also, Rachel does talk several times in this episode about her struggles with infertility and wanting to use the money to help with that and maybe do some IVF treatment. So, thank you, Rachel, for talking about that because not a lot of people do. So that was also
Yeah.
a really good thing. Hope
That's when I
wish
felt
you all the
like,
best
oh,
with that.
Rachel's gone.
Yeah, because we're getting the like
Mhm.
my reason why I'm here kind of edit
Exactly.
early in episode 3. So then they stop at another place. Now, would
Mhm.
you have seen this big country retreat house and instantly known France from this?
Yes, it was giving chateau.
Okay. I'm not good at architecture, so I don't know. I was like, it looks like a big fancy house.
No, again,
I
to be
probably could have
fair,
convinced myself of England or Spain as well, so I don't know.
that's the thing. I think, like, I could see England, but the thing is they're not going to England. Like, it's just they're not going to London. That is so far. Paris is
Yeah.
already far. And then on top of that, you have to drive way more and cross the English Channel without them knowing. Ow.
There's not okay,
I
I
don't
was
know.
about to ask the dumbest question in the world and ask if there was a bridge. There's definitely not a bridge, right? No, that'd be way
I
too
think
big.
it's ferry, right? That's how you cross
Ferry?
the English
Okay.
Channel?
They could drive across a ferry. I always forget about ferries. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's what
okay.
I'm saying, like, I just think that's way too much, like, that's too much calculation.
Yeah,
And
at
you would
least
know you're on a ferry, like, I think you have to get out of your car.
that's a good question. I've been on some where you can stay in, but a lot, yeah,
Okay.
you do have to get out. So I'm not sure
I've
how they
only
would do
done it
that.
to Martha's Vineyard, and I had to get out.
But I feel like even if you're in your car on the boat, you'd be able to feel that you're going across water, I
Yeah.
think.
It's too much. Like,
Yeah.
no.
So, this is
The
when
love clues, you had to get the love people on, so,
yeah.
it's not happening.
This is when Rick hears a bird that he knows is only found near major metropolitan areas in Europe. And I said, "My guy, that doesn't help much." I mean, that'll in yeah, you're only going to be in Europe. And so far at least we've only gone to major metropolitan areas. It's true that maybe they could have like in the future at some point go to a countryside area, but we haven't had that yet. But I did love that at least he knew that a European bird was in Europe. Great. Good
I
job.
mean, again, it's, like, it's still a really fun piece, but
Yes.
I just don't
It
know
doesn't
that it's
actually mean
helpful
much. Right.
when you're only going to, unfortunately, metropolitan areas. That's not on Rick.
No, it's
Rick,
not.
we need this kind of insight. Thank you.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah,
too much.
exactly. It was funny though. So everyone sits at a table and then they check under their plates. This was a little confusing. Ty has an X, so she gets to pick first, but I could not understand what the rest of the order of who's picking who they're competing against was, if it was random or what.
Mhm. Yeah, I didn't know either, and I made that note to ask Rachel,
Yeah,
like,
let's ask Rachel
could
that.
they pick who it was or what was going on? Because I I was confused why you wouldn't play against someone you don't like. Like, I'm picking
Right.
like, Rick is not my enemy, but in the game, everyone seems to be a little bit more against Rick. So, right, I'm picking someone that I want to get sent into the map room. I'm not picking my quote unquote friend, which, like, if Rachel is trying to build alliances with Kim, I don't know.
Yeah, it was very confusing. Like, I don't know why Ty picked Rachel at the beginning to go
Yeah.
against because I'm like, you just built this good relationship, unless we're seeing these things out of order, which is definitely possible. But yeah, that one was a little confusing. Um, Especially because Ty just thought, I don't know what we're doing, and looking at the people available to me, I think I have the best chance against
Yeah.
Rachel, and my priority is just keeping myself safe. So Ty chooses Rachel, Mac picks Kim, Shane picks Rick, and Biggie goes with Allie because the two of them are left.
Mhm.
Um, so they play croquet.
Also, were these another piece I thought was interesting is that these were also the teams for the challenge, like number 1.
Not all of them were,
Not
but like
all, but
some were. Some were.
that's why I don't know if, like, and another question was, did they all have assigned seats, right? Or
It
was it
didn't
like,
look like it. It looked like
right?
they
Like,
were able to just sit down
yeah,
everywhere.
it makes sense that it's to chance because the X could have been placed anywhere. I just
Yeah.
thought it was interesting at how similar a lot of that was.
Yeah, it definitely was. Then we also get a little hint, this is just to the audience, that they're going to play croquet, which was a game that was an Olympic sport only one time in a game held at their destination, which was Paris.
Mhm.
So I don't know that I would have known that. Croquet just sounds French.
That's what I'm saying. Like, funny enough, would have been like British. It's such a fancy game in my mind, not even about reality, that I don't know that I would have put it all together. Listen, I would have seen those Louis Vuittons though.
Now, you though, as a person who does love Bridgerton, how is croquet different from Pall Mall? Are they the same game? Are they different?
Yeah, I believe it's like similar.
Okay. Because I don't
This is
know.
what I'm saying. It would have thrown me off because in my mind, it feels very close.
I played croquet the other day.
Really?
Just
This
like in
is
someone's
so
backyard.
you.
We played some croquet.
I love that.
It was a birthday party and we were hitting around in the backyard, but we had to kind of speed run it because it was taking forever. We had like 8 people. But anyway.
Also, you
Uh
were Biggie and Allie.
yeah. Would you have noticed Jeffrey's shoes, his Louis
Yeah, that's what I'm
Vuittons?
saying.
Louis
Those Louis
Vuittons?
Vuitton. Oh,
Yeah.
immediately.
Okay.
Here's my problem. Would I have noted that like the Rolex, the Louis Vuittons are all part of the clues? I don't know, but I think I definitely would have noted that he's wearing Louis Vuitton.
I think the
Those red
question is
bottoms are not leaving my sight.
is he still wearing his Rolex or was it just like the shoes? Like has
That's
he
what I'm
worn those
saying.
shoes before? Like as long as this is something that he's mixing up each time and so you could start to
Mhm.
follow it, I think that that's a good clue. So
I mean, they
unfortunately Rachel was the one
hitting
who noticed that and now she's
yeah, they
gone.
were like hitting us over the head with it, right? Where they were like
Mhm.
the zoom ins on the shoes.
I was like, that means something.
Yep.
Yeah. So Ty's gonna win and beat Rachel. Kim wins. She's sneaky good at croquet. Rick beats Shane, and then Allie beats Biggie. So the current map room is Rachel, Mac, Shane, and Biggie, but we still have the powers to deal with. So we get back on the bus. Mac thinks that they're maybe near Paris, but isn't sure. Biggie is sad that he keeps losing challenges. And then
Mhm.
this is when Ty and Rachel talk, and Ty says, the clue says, I think this one clue was pointing toward Moulin Rouge. And then talks about the can music and says can. And at this point, I was thinking, is this a Rick and Josh situation where Ty genuinely believes this, or is Ty trying to throw Rachel off? But I don't know why Ty would want to throw Rachel off because I think Ty like wanted to work with Rachel and have that secret alliance. So I think Ty was just wrong and just thought they were in can. Overthought
Yeah.
the
It, again, I feel like they were trying really hard, just like us, to be like, can't be that easy. It can't
right.
be that easy. I think that's all it comes down to. And my question is, now that they've seen Paris, do you think that they're gonna think a little bit more about like some Occam's razor, right? Like the
I think
simplest
so.
answer
I
is the
think they're now
answer.
just going to be like, but yeah, especially because they've seen Paris. Now they didn't know for sure Geneva and they didn't know for sure Rome. The Rome one was harder because not everyone picked Rome, but with
True.
Geneva, I think like the 3 people who were safe all picked Geneva, I think. So maybe they kind of knew that, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see whether or not they're all talking. It depends how much information they're all sharing. We could also ask Rachel that.
Yeah, that was gonna be another question to say, like, were y'all after what happens after we
Right.
are done with the city? What kind of what are we trying to understand
For the
from
people
each
in the
other?
map room, if you're safe, you have a general idea of where you may be. Are
Exactly.
you sharing that information?
I
So
mean, I'm lying, but what's the point of lying? Because like, if I'm lying, but Mac and
Mhm,
Rachel and all these people are telling the truth, then at this
right,
point, it's that I'm looking like very dumb.
exactly. So Ty's gonna use her power to save Shane, and Rachel's upset, but Ty is like, "I gotta play loyal to Shane, otherwise I would look
Mhm.
really bad," which I get. And then Shane uses his power on Rick to send him into the map room, based on the accusations that Rick is still a snake, which he's just never beaten those accusations at this point.
I love that for us.
Rick is like, I know I'll be back in the game when I can get through an elimination where people aren't pointing fingers at me and like trying to make me look like the bad guy. Um, I don't know if that's
And
gonna happen for
listen,
you, but Best of luck.
Josh is not Rachel. We'll say that because Rachel, the way she left, wow.
Yeah. So we go to the map room, and basically everyone picks Paris except for Rachel, who picks Can. It was unclear whether or not Rachel thought they were in Paris and flipped, or just actually didn't have any idea. So
Yeah. That's what here's the thing. I think Rachel has been doing what maybe a lot of people should do, right? Like hedging her bets, being a little bit more in the middle, not necessarily always on the city. Granted, it's only been 3 map rooms. This time it just hit her a little bit worse because everyone else literally hit it right on the head. And not only that, I think this could have been really exciting because had Rachel picked Paris, it would have been who's closest to the Eiffel Tower.
yeah, if they were all picking Paris, we could have had like a real zoom in and been
Yes.
really close. It was like everyone was within 20 miles, but
I'm telling
like
you,
that would be
and
wild.
I I think that's gonna start happening, right?
Probably, especially if they're pretty sure. But then at that point, it's like, why they're playing the edit of the show doing a
Hmm.
reveal to the audience and the person who's voted out and showing them a big landmark, right? Like in Geneva, they were at Lake Geneva. In Italy, or in Rome, they were at the Colosseum.
Right.
But like Paris has several big landmarks. They could have been a lot of places. They could have been at the
Yep.
Louvre. They could have been at the
Yeah.
Arc de Triomphe, like you mentioned. Like they could have been in a lot of places. And so then I feel like they would need to start giving clues to the specific spot within a city, you know?
That,
Because otherwise it's not fair. It's like, well, I got all the clues. The clues were pointing to Paris. How was I to know that, exactly what spot in Paris we're at when there were no clues pointing there?
yep. Because did we get anything with an Eiffel Tower?
No, I don't think so. No
Right. I just want to,
towers.
yeah, it's just, I mean, and no, and let's, maybe the production could be like, well, the Croquet and Louis Vuitton, like they were, founded in this exact spot, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
No, because you gave Jen Eva last time and the Lakers jersey.
Yeah. No, so
So
that one
don't tell.
that was a little closer to lake,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. But so the contestants do get to see the window and they are at the Eiffel Tower. We didn't get any moment with Rachel being out where a JDM is like, I'm gonna take you out to dinner or anything. So I
Nope.
guess I guess just didn't have that
I
connection.
also made that note. And I think at first I was like, well, I'm kind of mad because it's the first girl eliminated. What's happening?
Yeah.
But then I felt like, oh, I think he has to get back to Janae and Peter.
Yeah,
And he
probably.
doesn't get to walk off in the sunset.
I love Peter and Janae just like dancing in front of the Eiffel Tower and Kim being like, why are these street dancers coming on our bus? Kim is an icon. I just all the quotes, my favorite. So Rick instantly is like, not only recognizes Peter from The Bachelor, but also from The Traitors. And I think that's going to hurt Peter the most, is that Rick knows that about him. Unclear if Biggie knows Peter or if just Rick said that out loud or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Peter, as a pilot, thinks he has an advantage. Okay, Sasha, explain what Ty was doing. What was this move? This was the worst thing I've ever seen.
She is so lucky that Janae caught on.
But okay, Shane admits to seeing Peter. He's just like, yeah, Peter gave me the clue. At that point, even if Ty had denied it up to this point, Ty should have just been like, haha, yeah, and Janae gave me mine. I was just acting like I didn't know her because I wasn't really sure what was going on with the game. But yeah, admit
Exactly.
it now, because now she's doubled and tripled down and saying that when someone directly asks, did you meet Janae? She says no. Janae is here. Janae, you have no reason to believe that Janae will not just go tell someone. That information is going to come out. Why are you trying to lie about it now?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not comprehending why, if you're hearing Shane own up to it, because I don't think he owned up to it before, right?
I don't think so, but it doesn't matter that neither
So
of them
I'm
did. They
saying
could
if
just be like,
he's
yeah, well, we just met these random people. We had no idea they were covering the
that's how
game. It seemed
yes,
irrelevant. And now that they're
that's what I
here,
was
he's
gonna
like,
do.
yeah, I met him. Look at
And that
that.
would have been my point where I would have just said like, hey, I didn't know what was going on with them. I was feeling a little stressed and confused. Janae, love you, girl, now, but I don't know who you were. So I just thought like we had folks that coming up to us, and I wasn't sure why.
Yeah. You could even be like, we only talked for a couple minutes, and I just like I was so overwhelmed with winning and getting a clue that or an advantage that
Exactly.
I wasn't even paying attention to the person very much. Oh my gosh, it's you? That's crazy. Um, yeah, it and like Janae's turn from, ooh, Ty is acting like she doesn't know me. She must be in charge. I want to be on her good side to, oh, Ty is directly lying about knowing me and putting
Yes.
me in a position where I now have to lie in order to like, you know, keep up Ty's ruse. She's like, I can't
Mhm.
trust her. That was bad. And I just think that this was an opportunity for Ty to have a secret alliance, or not even necessarily secret, but like a good relationship with the new person coming in. And I think she botched it. I think this was a really bad move from Ty.
Yeah, again, I feel like I could see the vision now that Rachel's gone. She needs another, right? Like secret, almost
Hmm.
number one, et cetera, et cetera. It's just there's better ways to go about it. And I think she just maybe got caught a little bit off guard. But listen, it doesn't matter. I just think that it should have been like, don't know who she was, and let's move on with our life. Because most of the people on the bus probably didn't know who she is.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have hurt Ty at all. But I'm scared that if Janae gets close to someone else, it's painting a huge target on Ty's back.
Yeah. I think so. And I
But
like
Ty has
Ty. I just,
I think Ty has no option but to
yeah.
like be close with Janae.
Yeah. So speaking of which, let's just run through real quick. Got Ty, had a big episode,
Mhm.
but I think is painting a little bit of a target on her
Yes.
back. So we'll see where that goes. We've got Shane, also had a big episode. I think Shane's main thing is that he's going to be painting a little bit of a target of like a challenge threat potentially.
Yeah.
And then obviously also has the showmance. Allie in the showmance. I think Allie needs to spend a little bit more time reconnecting with Ty because I don't think she realizes that she's losing that relationship at this point.
Yep.
Um,
Love this guy.
I like Biggie. I think he's playing a decent spot. He's in an alliance where he's getting information, but
Mhm.
doesn't seem to have quite that same target yet. I need to go look. Maybe next episode I'll do this. I want to like look at everyone who's been in the map room and see like who keeps getting sent there. Like Rachel obviously kept getting sent there. Rick has been sent there a couple times. So Mac is another person that I don't know. I think this shakeup of having Peter and Janae in the game might be good for Mac to like have a couple targets in front of her or possibly some new people she could work with because she really doesn't have any major alliances besides like a loose potential
Mhm.
women's thing that we don't even know if Rachel is in on. I mean,
Yep.
sorry, if Allie is in on. So we'll see.
Yeah, agreed. It's just this is gonna get messy.
Yeah.
Oh, my queen.
Queen
Yes.
Kim also doesn't really seem to be in any alliances, but is an icon. So shout out to Kim.
Mhm.
Rick does seem to be still like in that position of he's just going to be if he doesn't win safety, he's going to be thrown into the map room every time is by default. I think.
Yep. Love it.
So Rachel was out this time. I did like Rachel in the game. I feel like she had a fun personality. I thought it was also interesting that I kind of would have pegged her instantly as being someone who maybe would have worked
Mhm.
more with, like, would have built an alliance earlier. So I like that that was starting to happen this time. So sorry to Rachel.
I know.
Um,
Next.
what I also have here is so here is our map room from this time. So of those four that went in, we did find out obviously that Rachel was the only one who didn't pick anywhere close. Um, I think having Allie, Shane, and Ty safe and continuing to be safe a lot of times is also going to like put a target on them a little bit. It does seem like everyone kind of knows about the whole showmance and
Mhm.
everything. So we can update the alliance tracker next time. But
Yep.
for now, we have our connections map, our alliance map that I've got here. Rick and Kim were the only two that were really out. And obviously, now that Rachel is out, we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see whether or not Mac can do anything to kind of firm up some of those alliances,
Yep.
but it might not be a bad thing to not be super visibly in with a group at this
Yeah.
point.
Again, I also wonder if in my mind, Mac, Rick, and Kim could be a lethal alliance if
Mhm.
that ends up working. But I think, like
Yeah.
you were saying, the comp beast nature of this other side is maybe a little bit too much for these three. But I think it
Yeah.
could be like a brains versus like brawn, kind of, even
Right.
though they're smart too. But you know what I mean.
But I do think, like, Kim and Mac especially, they talk in a similar way about the game that I kinda wanna, like, I wanna see a conversation on the bus of them together. They're spending so much time on the bus. I really think the best thing for this show would be show us more of the bus time, show us more of the
Hmm.
conversations that are happening there. I don't need to see 15 minutes of croquet.
Yeah.
Um, so here's where we've gone so far. Actually, kind of, I mean, they're not doing a straight line. I'm sure they're driving around a little bit, but our first destination was Rome, second one was Geneva, and third was Paris. Where do we think they're going next?
Yeah, I like really tried hard. So we do know from Josh's exit interview that they landed in Belgium.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm confused as to like, would they go there?
Why are we backtracking so much
Yeah,
closer to that direction?
exactly.
Yeah, so
But I
we
do
are
feel
heading in
like
the
Belgium
direction
and
of
Germany.
Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, the Netherlands are sort of the close ones, unless they're going to go north. I mean, sorry,
Hmm.
south. I'm trying to use correct directions now.
Yeah.
Unless they go south down to Spain kind of area or Andorra, um,
Yep.
or Portugal. That would be a real big drive down. But they, I mean, they did. I was surprised that they went up to Paris for this round. So let's see. We got to put something down. So this it's kind of more wide open. I'm not sure that they would
Yep.
directly go back to Belgium, but maybe they would. Let me see. What are some big cities? Do you have a guess for your
I
prediction?
I do feel like we might go to Brussels.
Okay.
Um just the way they're going up, like, it doesn't make sense to go down to Spain. It's way too far. So I do think we might go to Brussels, or the question is, are we going to go to Netherlands?
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
And then
Um,
Germany from there, almost skip Belgium, but I don't know. And I think Luxembourg is too random of a
yeah,
shout.
a little bit at this point. Plus, I don't know Luxembourg. Like, what even cities are in Luxembourg? Is Luxembourg City also a city? Yeah, it looks like Luxembourg is
Yeah.
the capital. I think I'm going to go for a little bit of a different guess. I'm going to guess
Mhm.
that they're going to Cologne. I think
Ooh.
we are going to skip over Belgium and Netherlands
Oh,
since
I
they started
like
there and
that.
come and circle back. I think we are going to have to not just stay in a straight line, in order to hopefully mix up a little so they can't just be constantly guessing what are the bordering countries,
Oh, you know
like the
what?
closest
I think
ones.
you have the better shout. I think you're right. Skip and just go straight to
Well, you
Germany.
got Paris, and I was really wrong. So
No,
we'll
but
see.
I truly feel lost after this one. Because there's so many options. So I like yours, but
Unless they
I'll stick
decide to
with
travel
Netherlands.
over to England.
Oh, that's crazy work.
I think they're gonna have to at some point. Otherwise, or they're going to have to start going to multiple cities in the same countries, which is also, I think, a good thing. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
But no, yeah, that's where I think like Belgium or Netherlands, Germany makes sense. And then I think we know they go to Austria.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Sorry,
did
spoiler
look like
alert.
that. Well, it was in the
Yeah, it was in the
episode.
preview.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like we have to do that right?
Mhm.
Like this here, but how we do it. I like the Germany, Austria,
Yeah.
Croatia, Hungary, maybe. Shout.
I wonder I'm also trying to kinda, like, big brain it and look and be like, "Okay, if they're in Germany, like, how are they gonna distinguish
Mhm.
between Cologne and Frankfurt and, Munich? Like, what are the dumb Americans, I say as a
Yeah.
dumb American who doesn't know to differentiate between certain cities, like, I got Paris, but other than like film festival stuff, I don't know how I would have guessed a whole lot of other cities, unless we were doing like
Exactly.
the south of France or something.
Yep. Big agree about that.
Also, I'm looking at the map now and realizing that there is a city in France called Toulouse, which is also the name of a character in Moulin Rouge. So Moulin Rouge maybe was just
That's
more of a. It could point to a lot of different
like
French
Romeo
places.
and Juliet, right? Like that is in
Right.
Verona. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
Confusing, but anyway. Awesome. Well, thank you all for following along with us. We'll
Yes.
see who's right. We'll see if Sasha can get another point for being correct this time, or if maybe we'll go to Germany and I'll actually be correct for once. We'll see.
I like yours better.
We'll see. I'm trying to be out of the box, but anyway.
Mhm.
Sasha, where can everyone keep up with you?
Yes, of course, you can find me talking celebrity gossip, pop culture. We actually just talked The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives
Mm.
over on Mess Magnets. So you can check out everything on messmagnets.com, our mess.magnets YouTube channel, for everything going on there. What about you, Mary?
You can follow me everywhere at Frail Mary and see what else I have going on. I played in a survivor game in my city over the weekend, which was a ton of fun. So I might do some sort of recap or something of that somewhere at some point. But great time. And yeah, other than that, just getting ready for Big Brother to start. It'll be here before we know it at this point.
Hmm
Awesome.
I love it.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.